Assalamu alaikum my viewers, welcome back to my channel Historical Discussion. Please subscribe my channel those who haven't subscribed it yet, and don't forget to give a thumbs up. Okay, so guys, as you can see, I have thought of something else. From today I'm going to start teaching class 9 West Bengal board history book named History of Modern Europe, written by Kalyan Chowdhury. As you can see, the book is in front of you all. I'm going to explain all the chapters in this book, and after the completion of each chapter, worksheets would also be discussed. So this video would be very important and fruitful for class 9 West Bengal board students. So students, today I'm going to start from foreword. This is not the chapter. This is just a short introduction of this book. What is foreword? A foreword is short introduction to a book, typically by a person other than the author. Now, politico-social evolution of Europe. Okay, politico-social evolution of Europe. That means in this content we are going to study about the evolution which was brought in the political as well as social era of Europe. Introduction. The politico-social evolution. See, evolution is highlighted, student. What is evolution? Evolution is a process of gradual development in a particular evolution is a process of gradual development in a particular situation or thing over a period of time. So the political and social evolution in Europe, leading to the rise of modern state and development of free thinking, was a result of various trends. Trend has been highlighted. What is trend? It is a general tendency, or we can say a fashion. So the politico-social evolution in Europe led to the rise of modern state and also the development of free thinking, and it was a result of various trends which was brought between 12th and 18th century. It began with the conflict. What is conflict? A conflict is a serious disagreement. So it began with the conflict, with the serious disagreement between the temporal has been highlighted. Temporal mean of worldly affairs. It began with the serious agreement between the temporal and religious institution. The institution of religion and of world. This was followed by the Renaissance. What is Renaissance? Renaissance means revival or rebirth. So this conflict between the temporal and religious institution, it was followed by Renaissance. Renaissance means revival or rebirth. This was followed by the Renaissance spirit. What is spirit? Spirit means courage and determination. This was followed by the Renaissance spirit and birth of new philosophy of life. That means new way of life. The discovery of the printing press helped the spread of education. How? The discovery of the printing press brought several books, and several books helped in the spread of education. The discovery of the printing press helped the spread of education, and the discovery of new lands encouraged the European powers to reach distant means far away, to reach far away lands outside Europe. Meanwhile, modern state system under the absolute monarchs. Absolute monarch means a complete control of a king. Monarchs are kings or queen. So meanwhile, modern state system under the absolute monarchs came to be established in Europe during the 15th and 16th centuries. At the same time, the development of science and general advancement of learning led to the rise of age of reason. That means the world entered into the age of reason. That age where everything was based upon reason. So at the same time, the progress of science and general advancement of learning led to the rise of the Age of Reason, which again prepared the ground for a revolutionary era in European politics and society. Okay, revolutionary era has been highlighted. What is revolutionary an era? An era which is all which when where revolution occurred. What is an era? An era is a period of history. What is a revolution? What is a revolution? Revolutionary activities, organizations, or people have the aim of causing a political revolution. That means a revolution which should be brought in political arena. So this was all about the introduction of politico-social evolution of Europe. Now moving to point number 1, that is conflict, serious disagreement between temporal and religious institution, between the worldly and religious institution. The Roman Empire, the great Roman Empire versus mean against the papacy. What is papacy? The papacy is the position, power and authority of the Pope, including the period of time that has a particular person holds this position. So point number 1 is all about conflict between temporal and religious institution, the Roman Empire against the papacy. Pope Leo III crowned Charlie Magny, or we can say Charles the Great. Pope Leo III crowned Charlie Magny, the great Roman king, and proclaimed him the Emperor of the Romans on 25th December 1880. So who crowned Charlie Magny? A pope. What was the name of the Pope? Pope Leo III. Pope Leo III crowned Charlie Magny and he proclaimed him as the Emperor of the Romans on 25th December. That means on the eve of Christmas in 880. That was the beginning of the Holy Roman Empire. Okay students, how can we say that that was the beginning of the Holy Roman Empire? Holy Roman Empire, why? Because a Roman king was crowned by Pope Leo III. Okay, so how can we say students that that was the beginning of the Holy Roman Empire? Because a Roman Empire was crowned by Pope. That means that was the beginning of the Holy Roman Empire, where a Roman king was crowned by a Pope. Who was the Roman king? Charles. And who was the Pope? Pope Leo III. So it may be said that the empire set up in Western Europe following the coronation of Charlie Magny as emperor in the year 1880 came to be known as the Holy Roman Empire. Now, the papacy, however, emerged much earlier. Saint Peter from 33 to 64 BC is recognized as the first pope of the Christian world. So, who was the first pope of the Christian world? Saint Peter. The pope, together with his organization, may be described as the papacy. A large part of the medieval period, or we can say Middle Ages, of the European history is occupied with the struggle for supremacy between the Holy Roman The large part of the medieval period, or we can say Middle Ages, of the European history is occupied with the struggle for supremacy between the Holy Roman Empire and the papacy. The root cause, that means the main cause of the struggle between the two here means Holy Roman Empire and the papacy. The root cause of the struggle between the two was that each claimed supremacy over the other. So long as each claimed supremacy and they tried to lord over the other, there could no lasting peace. Definitely, how could peace prevail? When the struggle between the two continued and each claimed supremacy over the other. The struggle had its beginning in the 11th century. In the struggle between the Pope and Emperor, the 11th century was most important. Why? The reason may be described as follows. Innocent III In the struggle between the Pope and the Emperor, the 11th century was most important. The reasons may be described as follows. Number 1, Innocent III from 1198 till 1216 was probably Innocent III was probably the ablest pope of the Middle Ages. Under him, the papacy reached the climax. Climax has been highlighted. What is climax? Climax is the most intense, exciting or important point. Under him, the papacy reached the climax of power. Innocent III was probably the ablest pope of the Middle Ages. Under him, the papacy reached the climax. What is climax? Climax is the most intense, exciting or important point. Under him, the papacy reached the climax of power. That means the most intense, exciting or important point of power. Innocent III pushed to the extreme the ideas of the supremacy of the papacy over all rulers. Okay, here extreme has been highlighted. Extreme means extremist. Extremists are those who reach to the extreme level in order to gain something. So what did Innocent III do? Innocent III pushed to the extremists the ideas of supremacy of the papacy over all powers. Surely under the able pope like Innocent III, the papacy became very powerful. Yes, the papacy should be become very powerful under the able pope. In a similar vein, under Frederick II from 1212 till 1250, the Holy Roman Empire attained a power that was comparable to none. According to Freeman, besides Charlie Magny, most gifted was Frederick II. After Charlie Magny, none other than Frederick II by virtue, underline virtue. Virtue means behavior showing high moral standard. So after Charlie Magny, none other than Frederick II by virtue of his personal qualities imparted, please underline imparted. Impart means communicate, to communicate information. Underline imperial. Imperial mean of an empire. Underline glamour. Glamour means an attractive and exciting quality. And brilliancy. Brilliancy is the state of being brilliant. So, after Charlie Magny, none other than Frederick II, by virtue of his personal qualities, imparted to the imperial office such glamour and brilliancy. By the time Frederick II became the emperor, the struggle between the empire and the papacy had been in progress for more than 150 years. Peace had often been patched up between the two, but the real question at issue had never been decided. Frederick II tried to settle the question by application of force, by applying force, but he was unsuccessful. In fact, it was not possible for him to establish the dignity and supremacy of the empire by pushing the papacy behind. After the death of Frederick II, the empire was never again a real world power. Second, end of the struggle, the papacy deprived of temporal power. Deprive means prevent from having or using something. The struggle between the empire and the papacy continued for a few hundred years. In the struggle, neither the empire nor the papacy could establish supremacy over both the temporal and spiritual domains. Temporal means student of worldly affairs and spiritual means religious belief. Now, what is domain? It is an area which is controlled by a ruler or government, an area of activity. So, the struggle between the empire and the papacy continued for a few hundred years. In the struggle, neither the empire nor the papacy could establish supremacy over both the temporal and spiritual domains. The 14th century may be regarded as a turning point in this struggle. In the course of that century, the claim of temporal power by the papacy came to an end. During the 14th century, the rulers of the several countries of Europe succeeded in regaining their independence. The countries like France, Germany, England and others, with the support of their subjects, revolted against the papacy. Such a revolt, known as the Revolt of the Nation, denied, that means refused to admit the truth, denied the Pope to interfere with the political and governmental affairs. It must, however, be remembered that in rejecting the secular domination means the domination which is based on secularism. Secular means not religious or spiritual. no connection with the religion. So, however, it must be remembered that in rejecting the secular domination of the papacy, the leaders of the revolt did never challenge the spiritual authority of the Pope as the supreme head of the church. It was in this way that the struggle between the empire and the papacy came to an end. Now, crisis of feudalism. Now, what is feudalism? Students, feudalism was a system in which people were given land and protection by people of higher rank, and in return they used to work and fought for them. So, crisis, problem which had been brought in feudalism in Western Europe, and the abolition of serfdom. Abolition, as I said, means put an end. What is serfdom? Serfdom was a system. What sort of system it was? It was a system. It was a system of. What sort of system? The system of serfdom was a social and economic system by which the owners of land had serfs. They had serfs. Who were serfs? Serfs. In former times, serfs were a class of people who had to work on a particular person's land, and they could not leave without that person's permission. Or we can say bonded labor hood. Okay, so this paragraph is all about crisis of feudalism in Western Europe and the abolition of serfdom. Feudalism is the name which is given to the economic, social and political relation and condition existing in Western Europe during the Middle Ages. Feudalism had its beginning in the 19th century and it continued till the 13th century. Serfdom was one of the pillars of feudalism. How the serfs were attached to the land and it was not possible to detach, to remove them from it. Next, the serfs lived a miserable life. Why? Because they were in bonded laborhood. Individual serfs had various ways of escape from the hardship, that means difficulty of serfdom, but the serfdom as a system could come to an end, and when there was a revival of the old towns as the growth of the new towns. So how did this system come to an end? When there was a growth of the new ones. The towns created demand for agricultural goods. The towns means the new. The new towns created demand for agricultural goods. This offered new opportunity for the serf to become free settlers, no longer in bonded laborhood. They worked as hired free day laborers and they earned. And this is how they used to earn wages in exchange of their labor. Next point. The feudal lords also came to see that it was more convenient, it was more easier to accept fixed payment in money from the tenants. Underline tenant, a person who rent land or property in lieu of services and produce from serfs. Next, improvement and changes in the mode of warfare, especially those resulting from the use of gunpowder. Hasten means hurry or cause to happen sooner. The downfall of feudalism. The newly emerged farmer foot soldiers were found to be equal to the knights of the feudal time. Please underline knight. Who were they? In medieval times, a knight was a man of noble birth who used to serve his king or lord in a battle. So this was all about the crisis, the problem which had been brought in feudalism in the western part of Europe, and also the abolition of serfdom. Now next is point number 4, changes in the economy. Point number 4 is all about the changes that had been brought in the economic system. Changes in the economy. In the transformation of medieval Europe, that means Europe in the Middle Ages, in the transformation of Middle Europe into the modern, that means the transformation of Middle Ages to modern period in the Europe. In the European economy had a part, in the Europe, economy had a vital part to play. Economy had a vital part to play in the transformation of medieval Europe into modern Europe. In the 13th-14th century, land still was the most important source of income. Again, in some areas, the emergence of trade and industry became dominant factor, became the most important factor. Here are three reasons. Number 1 is expansion of agriculture. How? Invention of new agricultural technology. Point number 2, demand for agricultural and non-agricultural commodities. Point number 3, rise of new mercantile community. Number 1, expansion of agriculture, invention of new agricultural technology. The 13th and 14th centuries witnessed means give proof. The 13th and 14th centuries witnessed numerous innovation. Innovation means introducing something new. The 13th and 14th century witnessed, give and prove, numerous innovation in agriculture. Europe awakened to a new life, found the old market inadequate. Inadequate means not enough, unable to deal with the situation. Europe awakened to a new life. Europe woken up to a new life, and Europe found the old markets not enough to meet the growing needs of the demand. The towns were also calling for agricultural products. In such a situation, three methods were employed to increase agricultural production. These were: number one, use of new agricultural implements, that means tools, use of new agricultural tools, extension of the cultivable land in order to grow more and more crops, more and more products, and new land arrangement with the farmers. First, the use of flail. What is flail? It is a wooden tool in order to beat grain, in order to separate grain. So this made separation of crops easier. Second, the use of horse instead of bull in plugging increased the production level. Third, clearing of forests added new areas for cultivation. So this was all about the expansion of agriculture and invention of new agricultural technology. Next point is all about demand for agricultural and non-agricultural commodities. Towards agriculture, non-agricultural commodities. Towards the close of the Middle Ages, that means when Middle Ages were coming to an end. Towards the close of the Middle Ages, growth of towns, trade and commerce paralleled. Underline paralleled. It means existed in the same time or in a similar way. So the growth of towns and trade of commerce paralleled the growth of population. Consistent, that means regular, unchanging, consistent with it, unchanging with it, the demand for agricultural and fabulously. Agricultural products like wheat, barley, etc. were very much on demand. Production of non-agricultural commodities quadrupled. Quadruple means 4 times as much. So the production of non-agricultural commodities were 4 times higher, or we can say bigger, or we can say greater, to meet the demand. So this was all about the demand for agricultural and non-agricultural commodities. Number third, rise of new mercantile community. Mercantile means something which is of trade. The community of trade. With the emergence, with the rise of trade and commerce, the bankers also enlarged. Enlarged means expanded. With the increase of trade and commerce, the bankers also enlarged their field of operation. What is an operation? An operation is an organization, action involving a number of people. In the Middle Ages, banking was the monopoly. Underline monopoly. What is monopoly? Monopoly is the exclusive possession or control of the supply of or trade in a commodity or service. I'm giving you a finest example of this word. It means monopoly is a market where there is only one seller but many buyers. For example, if our Nokia handset has been disturbed, where do we go? We should have to go to the hub of Nokia in order to get it done. We cannot go to the hub of Samsung. We cannot go to the hub of Sony to get it done. We have to go to the hub of Nokia. That means monopoly. Monopoly means a market where there is only one seller but many buyers. That is monopoly. So in the Middle Ages, banking was a monopoly of the Italians. In the 14th century, Frenchmen, Germans and Englishmen also consolidated. Consolidated means make stronger or more secure. So they also made stronger their position as banker and financiers. Thus emerged the new mercantile communities in Europe, the community which is based on trade. The most impressive mercantile communities of the period were the Medici of Florence and the Fugger of Augsburg. So my students, my viewers, this is all about today. This explanation. Inshallah, we'll be back with the next video. In my next video, I'm going to explain about the Renaissance humanism, the growing importance of man, the anthropocentric worldwide? And if I'll get time, then I would definitely discuss about the age of discovery in my next video. So I hope class 9 students would find it fruitful. That's all for today. By that time, stay safe, stay at home. Allah Hafiz. Thank you.